They told the world the hero was gone. No answers, no goodbye. His workshop fell silent. The armor waited. Years passed. The city moved on. But the people who loved him never did. Then, something impossible happened. A door between worlds opened, and the man they lost came home. But the world was no longer the same. It needed him again. So the systems woke up. The armor answered, because some heroes don't disappear. They return when they're needed most.
For 5 years, his family waited. A wife who never took off her ring, her eyes fixed on the window, praying for a miracle that felt more impossible with each passing day. A daughter who grew from a little girl into a young woman, her only connection to her father, the flickering images on old home videos, just to hear the sound of his voice. The young man he had mentored, now a leader himself, searched relentlessly for answers, for a closure that the universe refused to give. The world, as it always does, moved on. New headlines, new worries, new heroes. But for the people who loved him, time stood still. His workshop, once a place of brilliant innovation, sat silent and untouched. A thick layer of dust covered the helmet that had once been a symbol of hope for so many. Everything was a memory, a ghost of what used to be. But in a place beyond our comprehension, somewhere outside the known boundaries of space and time, the story wasn't over. Lost in a dimension between worlds, a place of impossible physics and breathtaking beauty, he had survived. He was adrift, a castaway in an ocean of stars, floating through the unbelievable, his every thought, his every action, driven by one single purpose: finding a way back. Back to the family he loved, the life he was stolen from. He never gave up, never lost hope, fueled by the memory of their faces. And then one night, after years of endless searching, it happened. A tear in reality, a shimmering doorway of light. He fell through, tumbling back into our world, collapsing onto familiar ground. He was older now, the years of his impossible journey etched on his face, streaks of gray in his hair. He pushed himself to his feet and began to walk. The streets had changed, the world he knew was a faint echo, but he followed a path burned into his heart. He walked until he found it, the home that had been waiting for him, a beacon in the unfamiliar night. He raised a trembling hand and knocked. The door opened, and when his wife saw his face, the entire world stopped spinning. For a moment, there was only silence, the disbelief in her eyes warring with a lifetime of hope. Then, a choked sob, and they were in each other's arms, holding on with a desperation born of 5 years of loss, a fear that if they let go, he might disappear again. Their daughter, hearing the sound, came down the stairs. She stopped, her hand flying to her mouth. The man from the videos, her father, was standing in their hallway, real and alive. The tears that followed weren't of sadness, but of a joy so profound it felt like it could heal every wound. When the young man he'd mentored got the call, heard the impossible news, the piece of his own heart that had been broken for so long finally started to mend, because he was home. Against all odds, he was finally, truly home. The days that followed were a blur of rediscovery. Learning the new shape of his daughter's smile, seeing the man his protégé become, falling in love with his wife all over again. He tried to settle into a quiet life, to embrace the peace he had fought so hard to reclaim. He had earned his rest. He had earned his happiness. But the world has a way of needing heroes. As he watched the news, a new crisis was unfolding. A threat unlike any seen before, something that conventional forces couldn't handle. He saw the fear in people's eyes, he saw the helplessness, and he felt that old, familiar pull. A responsibility, a duty. He knew his rest was over. He walked back into his workshop, the air thick with the smell of cold metal and dust. With a single decisive motion, he pulled the dusty covers off the machines. One by one, they powered on with a hum, lights flickering to life as if they too had just been waiting for his return. He didn't look back at the old suit. The past was the past. He began designing something new, something better. His hands moved with a renewed purpose, sketching, building, refining. A new suit of armor began to take shape, gleaming white and gold. It was sleeker, stronger, more advanced, more capable than anything he had ever built before. He stood in the center of the platform, and the machine came to life. Piece by piece, the new suit assembled around him, clicking into place with perfect precision. Systems came online, a chorus of synthesized voices confirming diagnostics. The helmet sealed shut, and the heads-up display flared to life. Hope, once a distant memory, was now a tangible force, humming with power around him. He took a breath, the world outside his workshop fading away. With a final thought of the family he was fighting for, he launched into the sky. A brilliant streak of white and gold against the dark clouds. Because some people, no matter how much they've lost or how much they've endured, never stop caring about what matters. Some heroes never truly retire. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.